Moiz, I'm glad to be able to speak to Moiz today, who is CHRO and people leader in technology and digital services. Thank you for taking time out to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Moiz has led people's strategy across digital engineering and transformation-driven organizations. His experience in scaling culture and building digital native talent aligns closely with Karnataka's tech-driven growth story. So lovely having you here, Moiz. But to begin with, let's talk about people's strategy at scale, right? As organizations expand across digital and engineering domains, what principles do you have that guide your approach to building a resilient people strategy?
I think resilience is the key word here. When we talk about the guiding principles, I do have my own guiding principles. Number one is not chasing numbers. So rather than focusing on how many number of positions I need to fill, I would rather focus on capability building. When I say capability building, it talks about growing the skills of the future, say AI, cybersecurity, so on and so forth, even leadership development, focusing on productive. So that is number one. Second, using employee experience as a differentiator. So we are in an age wherein the motivation of the current generation is very, very different than what our motivations were. And again, the approach towards them sticking to a different organization is again different. So companies who invest a lot in their employees, give them growth opportunities, flexibility, they will sustain. So I would rather invest in the right experience for my employees. And last but not the least,
no, you're talking about growth environments, right? And that I think says a lot more about, how the whole economy is growing in India, especially. And I'm not talking about just Karnataka, but generally, we're talking about a high growth environment. So we're looking at Karnataka's landscape. So we started in the late 1990s with just Bangalore. Now we have 2-tier, 3-tier cities cropping up with so much more employment, companies investing in as well. How do you think you could sustain culture when teams are rapidly scaling and roles are evolving every quarter? Like today we're just looking at, this much. Tomorrow we might look at 3 cities. Day after we might look at 3 states, if not 3 countries. So how do you think you can sort of sustain team spirit, really, when we're talking?
Sure, a very good question, and I honestly believe that the culture is tested during the times of adversity, change, or any kind of reformation that we are going through. So that is again one of the guiding principle that helps me to do a counter activity in order to retain the cultural elements. First and foremost, for me as an HR leader, is to retain empathy. So I'm sure we all make tough decisions, but to execute them with empathy would make the real change. Second, visibility of the leaders. Now, if you hide behind boardrooms and are not on the floor listening to the frustrations or maybe queries or questions of your team, then what are you even doing? So it is very imperative for all the leaders to be visible enough, right? And the third thing that I feel is it is communication. So everybody at a leadership level should have a very clear communication explaining what their intent is, what we are going to do. That way the anxiety lessens. So and you can retain the culture.
And so much of what you're talking about is something that's being echoed by so many CHROs today. We're talking about empathy, we're talking about being seen, about having clear communication, right? I mean, I'm sure when all of us started, that wasn't really the case. In most companies, they had the cabin doors shut in a lot of, organizations. But I think a lot of digital talent is also important right now. I think, especially when you see a changing workforce, what shifts do you see in the expectations and capabilities of digital native talent when they enter the workforce today? I mean, they're considerably different from the workforce that was coming in, a decade or 2 ago.
You're absolutely right. I mean, like I said, the motivation for people choosing an organization, especially of this generation, is very different than ours. So we used to think, how long can I sustain here?
Yeah.
While the new generation thinks, how quickly can I grow in this organization? So you see, that is how they make decisions, career decisions as well. And I was reading a report by Deloitte, wherein they did a survey in 2005 for millennials and Gen Z, and there are top three priorities which Gen Zs especially consider while making career decisions are in any company which gives them learning and development opportunities, flexibility, and work-life balance. So these are some of the aspects that they usually consider while making career decisions. So times have changed, and I envy the new generation. They are incredibly adaptive, to be honest, because it's a technological disruption right now that we're living in. But they are able to adapt so easily to these changes.
And much quicker than any of us, right?
Much quicker than us, they're thriving.
No, it's like the ad that comes, with a Gen Z batsman coming in. I'm not sure if you've seen it with cricket. So there's this ad, and you have the older cricketers talking about and asking AI, how do we talk to this new Gen Z batsman? And I think so much of that talks about how leadership is evolving as well today, right? So you're talking about it's a leadership in transformation, really. I mean, if we're just talking cricket, there's no way that the same kind of captaincy that we had back in Patodi's time would have worked with A. Dhoni or would work today right now with, the batsmen who come in. So similarly, what leadership behavior do you think matters the most when you're navigating organizational transformation or restructuring as we see that today, especially with, changing workspaces, hybrid, in office, everything keeps changing. What do you think?
Again, one thing that has stayed with me, and I've seen a lot of transformations and restructuring throughout my career, that leaders have to be very resilient to change and adaptive to change. If they, adapt easily and they're leading by example, their teams also, follow them, their anxiety is less. And apart from this, like we discussed, communication is the key. Even if you don't have the answers, and most of the times at a leadership level you don't. So ensure people that you will try and get them the answers, even though right now you don't have, but we'll navigate through this. So that honesty will help you and your team to sustain.
Right, definitely. I think honesty, like you said, clear communication, visibility, so much of being a leader should also translate into the kind of person you are when everybody else is busy looking at their device. To be able to sort of speak is so much more important, right?
Yes.
Now, Karnataka, for instance, has a huge talent advantage, right? And I think that's always been the case from the 90s when we had ITES services coming in to where we are today. From your vantage point, what makes Karnataka uniquely positioned to become a global talent hub, especially in the case of digital services per se?
So I was going through an article published by the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, and they said right now in Karnataka we have more than 1.5 million students who are employable. We have more than 5,000 IT or ITES, as well as more than 1 million jobs available. So that says that the country is on a hyper growth, and our state, Karnataka, is also on a similar hyper growth right now. A CBRE report I was reading that said that Bangalore will be, anchoring a lot of GCCs now because it's a budding innovation hub, and it is one of the top 12 cities which is at par with San Francisco or London or so on and so forth. So the possibilities are enormous, to be honest, and this is a good phase to be in because we are on a hyper growth. And apart from this, I also feel that initially, if we talk 10 years back, companies from outside India, they were investing here in Bangalore more as an offshore development center or as a cost benefit. But right now, the times have changed. The investments are mostly on multiple aspects. One, it is an innovation hub, so a lot of product-based companies are investing, and products are scaling from Bangalore to the world. Second, we are also one of the GCC hub. So, you know, it is one of the top 3 cities in India right now, which has the highest number of GCCs. So, a lot of new, opportunities for the current talent that we have, as well as us millennials.
Yes, definitely. And I think the fact that talent only keeps growing is what makes this such a fascinating space to be in.
Absolutely. It's a good time to be alive.
Right. Thank you so much. We'll end on that really happy note. Thank you
so
for your
much.
time, Moiz. See you
Pleasure
soon.
talking to you.
Thank you.
Can we revisit question?